everyone. Wonderful to welcome you to the garage. Peter Clayton's behind the camera. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. And here in the court of public opinion, so much to talk about. Pete, we never actually set a time, did we? Actually, how long these programs go?
No, well, we started out with 5 minutes, then it became 10.
I remember that, 5 minutes. I remember. Okay, and it sort of drifted on, but the world has got more complicated than the last 2-3 years.
It has. Yes, it has.
It has. So we must accommodate the complexities of the world. Look, before we get on to stuff, apart from welcoming you, if you were listening to us on Friday, live streaming, jeremycordeaux.com, 9 till 12, you would have met this wonderful man, Wolf Blass. And he left this with me, and I haven't been up there. Well, it was only Friday. But in the coming days and weeks, I certainly will get up there. He started up this Wolf Blass Foundation, which has all sorts of various interests, but this is a fantastic one. He's synonymous, of course, with red wine. And do you believe? I mean, he's the best advertisement for red wine I've ever seen in my life. He is 89 years old. And I swear he didn't look a day over 60. Remarkable. Remarkable man. Great businessman, very successful businessman. Anyway, he set this thing up, which is in the Adelaide Hills. It's the Wolf Blass Wine Bar. The Wolf Blass Wine Bar. And I am going up there to have a look at it. I'm just trying to find the address. Oh, it's 62 Mount Barker Road, which is, of course, the main road through Hahndorf. And knowing him, it would be absolutely magical, perfect. Where do we start? I guess we have to start with the Middle East, don't we? The Middle East. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Palestine. Jerusalem. The birthplace of Jesus Christ. The Prince of Peace. Has that place ever known any peace? So I guess it was appropriate, wasn't it, to try to start there. Hatred, violence, and war. And I suppose that's why God chose it. Like this fly chose me. Isn't this spooky, Pete? Sitting there on my arm.
Well,
it's
he
been
loves
weeks
you.
and weeks and weeks.
You're a very kind man, much more kind than I am.
Well, no, I couldn't kill it. No, well, thank you for coming. Thank you. But please stop buzzing. Be that as it may. Hatred, violence and war, which is what the Middle East is kind of synonymous with. Maybe that's why God chose it, perhaps, yes? Well, it's war now. It's a proclamation of war. It's on again. It used to be the PLO. Pete, you don't suppose there's anything dead down here, do you?
I don't think so.
Listen. You can sit here and watch the show, but please stop buzzing. Yeah, it used to be the PLO. Now it's Hezbollah and Hamas. Same people, same story. A full-scale invasion of Israel. How stupid. How could they possibly do that? Anyway, 250 I heard later this afternoon. This is Sunday. 300 dead. Many wounded. Taken prisoner. Hostage. Hostage, more correctly. I don't altogether understand. Israeli intelligence would have to be second to none. And it looks like they were caught napping, which is totally out of character. Anyway, Hamas is about to get its bum kicked, good and proper. You take on the Israelis, you must be, wow. Let's watch it with interest. You remember the 6-Day War, don't you? back in 67, I think it was. Don't tackle the Israelis. Peter Malinauskas said on Friday, I'm wearing my t-shirt, by the way. I'm going to do that all this week. Peter Malinauskas said Friday, voting yes is a nice thing to do for our most disadvantaged. Well, it is possible to choose disadvantage. It is. Aboriginals are not disadvantaged. They are not. With just under 4,000 separate organisations and $39.5 billion to look after just 3.4% of the population, they, ladies and gentlemen, are not disadvantaged. Robbed and swindled? Yes. Yep, I'd go along with that. But you, sir, Mr. Premier, are either ill-informed or you're a fool. And the journalists, of course, are no better. Not one journalist pulled him up and asked him to explain. Not one. Yet, of course, leaders can look down the barrel of a TV camera and lie, and they've done it before and they'll do it again. Witness Vladimir Putin. Also on the evening news on Friday, I quote, "Russia did not start the war in Ukraine." Straight-faced. He went on, "We are in fact trying to stop it." You can understand, in the context of Russia, you can understand the lack of journalistic questioning. It's still really the Soviet Union. And we're probably headed the same way, sadly. All those people, politicians, clergy, businessmen and women, celebrities, sports people who back the yes vote. What is going on? Some sort of group insanity? People put their name and reputation to something without investigation? To read 26 pages should not be too much to ask. No one who did read the 26 pages could possibly vote yes or advise other people to vote yes. On the insiders, yesterday, David Spears asked the panel, he said earnestly, "It seems that the no vote is going to win. Why is the no vote so strong?" As if he's confused. Anyway, back comes the answer. People are confused. Confused? What absolute rubbish. Yes, well, of course, it is the ABC, the mouthpiece of the Labour Party and the great promoter of the yes vote. They're not reporting, they're campaigning. But how could these professionals sitting on the couch be so out of touch as to think that we, the people, are the problem? We're confused. All the truth is there, and they don't mention any of it. Are they incompetent? Stupid? Blind? Have they read the 26 pages, which has certainly backgrounded me? The PM wants us to concentrate on the question. Well, of course he does. He hasn't, or he says he hasn't, read the 26 pages. Beyond belief. And even on that program, he was talking And this is the official piece of paper that you get when you go in to vote. How to vote yes, it says. And it's complicated, and it's not in any other languages other than English. But either the Prime Minister is confused, or the people running the yes vote are confused. Can't have it both ways. It was a very simple thing. The Minister said, in fact on the same program, oh well, what we will do is we will have the voice come to us to give us advice on what we should be doing for the Aboriginal people. How often, when, where, all of that. We will take advice. We keep hearing the word advice. We'll take advice from the voice. That's not what it says here. It says here, quite clearly, when Parliament or government want to improve outcomes for Indigenous Australians in areas such as health, education, they will ask the voice to come up with the best solutions that will actually work and make a real practical difference. You see, ladies and gentlemen, they cannot get their story right. It can't be both ways. Either the voice is going to give, or the government is going to ask. And they see nothing wrong or nothing in conflict with that because they think we're stupid. Well, they're going to get a rude shock. I don't think this referendum will be carried in any state, and I predict it'll be something like 70-30. I would worry seriously about the 30% who voted yes. But anyway, I ask you this question in conclusion. Would Aboriginals really want to go back to pre-colonial days, 1788? Would they? Naked, Stone Age people, by today's standards. Nothing achieved in 65,000 years. I mean, they may have their own reasons for being proud of what happened in those 65,000 years, I don't know. But no infrastructure, no cities, no written language, no common language or alphabet, didn't discover the wheel, never built a building or a bridge or a hospital or a school, a university, missed the Iron Age, gunpowder, weaving, all of those things, nothing. Maybe they were perfectly happy. Would they be prepared to go back and be perfectly happy? As cultures all over the world raced ahead, the Greeks, the Italians, the Indians, the Chinese, the Japanese, and of course the English and the Europeans, why were the Aboriginals stuck in the Stone Age? Along with, I must admit, certain people in the South Pacific, the Papua New Guineans, for example, who to this day in some parts of the country are headhunters, cannibals. They remain that way today. So I ask, would Aboriginals want to leave what I call civilization? Leave it all behind to go and live independently in their own state, which, if you read the 26 pages, the sovereignty bit, that is what they want to do. Which I take it to mean, Pete, would you agree it's the Northern Territory?
That's the way it's looking, yes.
It sort of looks like the Northern Territory that they want to have as a sovereign...
They say that they want statehood for the Northern Territory.
But their statehood?
It just says they want statehood for the Northern Territory. They don't say for themselves, but they do say they want their own sovereignty.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
They want their own black parliament.
Black parliament. Well, the devil is in the detail. So we'd have to be very careful about all of that. Let's hope we don't have to deal with it. But the Northern Territory, living there alone, no white fellas money, no welfare, no $39.5 billion a year.
I tell you what, Jeremy, I think the Chinese would love it. Wouldn't they?
Oh, anyone would love it.
Well, I mean, they just walk straight in.
Well, they'd do a deal with the Chinese probably.
Yeah.
The Chinese own the port,
Yeah.
so they probably would. Anyway, I don't know. Most Aboriginals, however, you've got to understand, are on welfare, which in your sovereign state would not be immediately available, would it? How would you live? But you got by for 65,000 years without white man's help, so why not? You want to go back to that? Do you really want to go back to that? Or could it be that you think that we, the taxpayer, will just simply go on supporting an independent black sovereign state? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. If it came to that, I think you would have a tax revolt all over this country. I don't think this nonsense will get up, as I said at the beginning. But I also don't think that these people, the lefties, the intellectuals, the celebrities, the academics, I don't think they're going to go away. They won't. They won't. All of this, over 3.4% of the population, who are, as I've said at the beginning of this segment, probably the most privileged people in the country. It's just plain ridiculous. And as Alan Jones said, and I thank you for all the comments that have been made, and I've tried to reply to everybody, but I've still got some more to go. People were very interested in the things Alan Jones said. But as Alan said, no gratitude, not one word of thanks for the successful journey so many Aboriginals have taken to wealth and high office.
Can I just say something, Jeremy?
Sure.
Something I thought. Do we owe them, or do they in fact owe us?
Well, if they owe us, we'll never collect.
But they owe us for bringing them out of the Stone Age.
I don't understand where their mind is, whether they wanted that or not.
Oh, I'm sure they don't want to go back to
it. They can say, we don't want this civilization. We want to stay in the dirt. We want our music sticks and our bits and pieces and our white paint on our face and our loincloth. Well, I don't know, but people have a right to choose, and I'm all for that. People can choose. But don't ask me to pay for it. Anyway, all of the benefits that have been provided, as I think Alan alluded to in his clip, his broadcast, all those benefits are there to make life easier for Aboriginal people. There are benefits, concessions, incentives and support, quite separate from anything that is given to white people. That in itself is racist. But it does seem it is never enough. They, that is the government, that's who's behind this whole thing, I'm quite convinced, have enrolled footballers, celebrities, business people, and now I see the Muslim community, to endorse yes. Endorsed by mosques and imams and muftis. God, think Iran. Well, I mean, that endorsement might not help you a great deal. But we'll see. Prime Minister, I know that you didn't want to spend more than a few minutes in Alice Springs, but Alice Springs, Tennant Creek and hundreds of outback towns is the issue. They are the issue for which your voice will make no difference whatsoever. And that is the problem. You can't be that silly. It's not about making Aboriginal lives better, is it? It's about a socialist reshaping of Australian society, you of the socialist left. With the Labor governments, of course, almost wall to wall in this country, and a compliant media, you would probably have a look around and say, there has never been a better opportunity. The one thing you must remember, however, sir, everything you need to know is in those 26 pages of the Uluru Statement from the Heart, which, of course, the Prime Minister, you don't want to read. Why would I read that? I think he said. Why would I want to read that? Well, of course he would say that. He's pretending that he doesn't know what's in there. Rubbish. But forget him. It's not about him. It's about you and me and Pete. It's us. As long as we vote no, who cares what that man says or thinks or wants? That's sincerely my view. Anyway, some dates, Pete? Have we got the time?
You should better get onto those.
Sorry. October 10. Hang on, is it October 10? No, sorry. Got a day ahead of myself. October 9. Because we record Monday and Tuesday together. October 9, 1876. 1876, the first two-way telephone conversation. The first over outdoor wires. 1876. Same day, 1947, the first telephone conversation between occupants of a moving car and an aeroplane. And it was when I was on AA in the evening, I remember my dear friend, Tony Denton, on a, I don't know, an Etihad plane flying somewhere in the world, rang the program, and we had to talk to not only him, but the steward and several of the fellow travellers. God knows where they were. I mean, 40,000 feet somewhere else in the world. I mean, the world is moving ahead very, very quickly. 1940, John Lennon, British rock singer, songwriter. Beatles, Strawberry Fields Forever. Help! Born in Liverpool, England. He died 1980, born 1940. 1990, radio stations around the world played Imagine, honouring John Lennon on what would have been his 50th birthday. 1990. 1855, American inventor Isaac Singer patents his sewing machine motor. 73, and Elvis and Priscilla Presley divorce after just 6 years. Hobart in Tasmania is founded in 1804. On this day, the first electric blanket. Was a good invention. When was that? Oh no, hang on. The first electric blanket manufactured, it sold for $39.50. The year was 1946. Wow. 1980, the first consumer use of home banking by a computer, United American Bank in Knoxville, Tennessee. 1980. That's about 40 years ago, and I still don't use the bloody thing. Don't like that. In the year 1000, Leif Erikson reaches Vinlandia in Canada, where they too probably had flies. Leif Erikson, reputedly becoming the first European to reach North America. The year 1000, on this day. Who would have recorded that? And how would it have been handed down all these years? Amazing. 1930, first transcontinental flight by a woman completed. Laura Inglis was her name. 1930, Oskar Schindler, the Austrian businessman, subject of the novel and the movie Schindler's List, dies at 66. It was 1974. 1941, US President Franklin D. Roosevelt approves an atomic bomb program that would go on to become the Manhattan Project, which would end the Second World War. Jackson Brown, American rock singer, Running on Empty. Do you like him, Pete?
I love Jackson Brown.
Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
What's the thing that I like that he does?
Oh,
Jackson Brown.
there's so many. I mean,
Brown-Eyed Girl?
no, that's Van Morrison.
Van Morrison. Oh. But I know him. I just can't put a song to him.
He co-wrote, the Eagles song, Take It Easy.
Yeah, The Pretender?
Yeah.
Anyway, 1948, Jackson Brown, born in Germany. Earliest mention of Prague's astronomical clock, the world's oldest still running clock. 1410 on this day. Wow. I must remind you again about that light that's burning in the fire station, which is the oldest incandescent burning light. They don't turn it off because they figure if they turn it off, it'll never go on again. But it's been on for 150 years or something. Amazing. Morris West, Australian novelist, Hughes of the Fisherman, dies at 83. 1999, French Air Force gets its first nuclear weapons. 1963, they're probably too emotional to have nuclear weapons, I would think, Pete.
Possibly.
Sacre bleu! The Hoover Dam begins transmitting electricity to Los Angeles in 1936. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I'm running out of welcome, I'm sure. Thank you very much for viewing the Court of Public Opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Clayton and I, Jeremy Cordeaux, will be back tomorrow. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.